Hey, Coach, how are you today?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing well. Just wanted to ask, are you enjoying a nice Scottish weather outside day?
Nope. There's numerous reasons I don't live in Scotland, and that's one of them. So I'm not enjoying it one single bit.
And that's one thing I wanted to ask you about, Coach, is this week with the weather, the way it is for yesterday, today, and, it looks like tomorrow. Have you guys been able to practice?
Yeah, so we took a look on what day was that? Saturday night after the game. I took a look at the weather and saw that Monday and Tuesday looked pretty bad. So we rearranged our training schedule. We actually had a light practice on Sunday before things got real bad. Usually we wouldn't do anything on a Sunday the way our schedule's been. So we went light on Sunday, and then we practiced indoor Monday because football was off. So we're really thankful that we have access to the Sherman Smith Indoor Center. It's unbelievable. So we could go in there and get a training session in. We gave them Tuesday off this week, just because we felt like the weather was going to be horrific. So looks like it was a good decision. So Tuesday was our off day. And then we're going indoor later tonight. Football's in there this afternoon, but we should be able to get in about 6:30. So we were able to reshuffle things, and then hopefully tomorrow we can get out on the field. Really depends on how things look, but we'd like to get a light session on the field tomorrow. So it's been a little disruptive, but that's what you do when you get bad weather, right?
Exactly. What's different about practicing inside in the Sherman E. Smith Center than out in the New Patterson Stadium? Do you have to wheel in goals and kind of change anything you do?
A little bit, yeah. It's a you can't get full width of a soccer field because it's football field plus a couple of yards on each side. And then, yeah, we have to wheel in a couple of goals that we have over there. But other than that, we can do everything we need to do. It's awesome. There's not a lot of schools that have that type of facility. A lot of them have small indoor areas that they can use. But for us to be able to basically do a full practice and not have to adjust too much is awesome.
Quickly, I'm just wondering, like, what would you do if football were supposed to be in there all day? Would you have to just make do somehow?
Yeah, I mean, usually we reach out if we feel like we're going to need the indoor center. We'll reach out to the lease over in facilities and just kind of get an idea what the schedule looks like. And usually if football are in the afternoon, we'll try to rearrange for our kids to go in the evening. But when they have an off day, it makes it a little bit easier. So it's the coaches are actually really good to work with. Working with Matt Butler and Coach Gundy, and even the other sports. Since we're in season, we get a little bit of precedence, I think, and certainly in the winter and in the spring, if softball or baseball need in there, we certainly defer to them because it's a little bit more important when they are in season.
Gotcha. And I have a little bit of a question on a different topic. Last week I saw on social media you guys I think welcomed in a few of the maybe it was the whole team, the women's basketball team, to Neil Patterson Stadium for a little. It was probably more of just like a fun kind of get together rather than more of like a full practice. How did that all come about? And what was some highlights of that?
Yeah, it was really cool. Coach Littell reached out, with that idea that maybe bring some of the women's basketball team over and have me show them a couple of skills and stuff, let them have some fun, and with the intent to promote our game. And maybe I think we can do something like that for them once their season gets going. We'll take some of our girls over to Gallagher and shoot some hoops with them. So we just thought, Coach Littell came up with the idea, thought it was awesome, and really enjoyed getting to meet those kids. They had a blast. It was freezing cold, but they were awesome. Their attitude was fantastic, and it was a lot of fun. It was cool.
Gotcha. I'll circle back around with some questions for my brother who couldn't be on the call today, but I'll pass it off to another person. Thanks, Coach.
Yep, no worries.
Hey, Coach. Quick question about Emily Plotz. So, of course, Big 12 goalkeeper of the week. I know you talked about the beginning of the season, you kind of had to look quickly at transfers and get her. How how long, or I guess, how close of a look recruiting wise did you guys take at Emily before you signed her?
Well, when we last fall, you got to backtrack to about October. Danny Greenlee had won our starting goalkeeper job for the most part at that point, and she was rolling, and the team was rolling. And Danny let us know, I think in October, that her intention was not to be back for her last year. She was graduating early, and was going on to medical school, which we 100% supported. Of course, we were disappointed to lose Danny, but pretty darn good reason to go on and get on with life. So at that point, we just wanted to look at some options and see if we couldn't bring in some goalkeepers to get some competition for the keepers we already had. So, we were very fortunate. We got Malia Milner to come in at semester break from California. And then, we'd been speaking with Emily Plotz throughout sort of November, December, January. We weren't clear if Emily was going to get an additional year by the NCAA. She had an injury her senior year, and she was right on that borderline timing-wise on whether or not she would be cleared for an extra year. So we kept the communication open and told Emily if it did work out, we'd certainly be open to bringing her in. And, we got all the paperwork done and everything. And I think probably around May is when we got the final word that she would be admitted to OSU and have a year to play. So worked out really well for all parties, I think. We were trying to bring in some competition in that goalkeeper position. And, Emily was looking for a new home and a fresh start and wanted to do grad school. And that seemed to be a really good fit for everybody. And, Emily just joined, so she can tell you, how she feels about it all herself. But from our standpoint, she's done very well. She's came in, competed, she's won the starting job, and, she's made some big plays for us. And I think overall she's been solid.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, Coach. So with Texas Tech coming up this weekend, what have you seen from Texas Tech, and what has kind of gone wrong with their season to this point?
Well, I'll tell you what, they were picked to win the league. We were picked to finish second, and, it was preseason rankings, but the coaches knew that they had a very strong group returning from last year. They finished second to us last year. We're very close with their coaching staff. They're great coaches, good people. And just knowing them so well, they had a couple of injuries before the season even got going to some key players. So they knew they had a couple of kids out that wouldn't be able to play. They got hit early with some COVID issues, and kids caught up in some primary contact things, and that depleted their roster a little bit. Then they had a couple more injuries. So they just, I think, haven't been able to field a consistent team. And then they haven't been able to field a team consistently with their best players on the field. Now, clearly they're getting there, and, they got their win against Iowa State last week. And, every game they've played has been close, even though they've missed some key players. So we certainly won't underestimate them based on their record. We know how good they are. They've got a goalkeeper who's special. Their two center backs are excellent. Kirsten Davis is one of the best attacking kids in the league, if not the country. So Jordy Haar is a very good number 10 creative kid. So yeah, they've got some really nice players, and they've just had a little bit of unfortunate circumstances throughout the year that they just haven't been able to get their best players on the field together consistently due to injuries and COVID. So we know it's a good team coming in here. They beat us last year down at their place, so we owe them one, and our kids will be really excited to play. It should be a really good game.
Does that affect like the scheme that you see from them? Like, have they had to run different schemes because of the personnel?
Yeah, they sure have. I just talked to their coach the other day, and we were laughing. He said, good luck scouting us, because they've played in like a 3-6-1, a 4-3-3, a 4-1-3-2. And, he's obviously not going to tell us what he's playing this Friday or who's available. We don't know exactly which players are available for him this Friday. So it's kind of funny. We play a consistent shape, so he knows what to expect from us. But we're going in a little bit blind because of that. We've seen 3 different games and 3 different formations, so it's going to be interesting.
And at what point in like the week do you know what players are going to be available for the opponent?
We won't know until they get out there and warm up and they fill in the starting lineup. Nobody really advertises the injuries. We know some of the kids who are out, obviously, because they're injured. But if he had a kid 2 weeks ago that maybe was a primary contact, that kid might be back for our game. And they have some other kids coming off some injuries that I know returned last week that played, low minutes, but those kids might be available for high minutes this week. So we probably won't know till Friday. That's one of the challenging things. But as always, we'll really focus on getting our team as ready as we can be, and whatever adjustments we need to make Friday, we will.
Thanks, Coach.
Of course.
How you doing?
I'm I'm good, thanks.
What's the mentality you're preaching to your team as you sort of finish out this season?
Yeah, our mentality, we came into the year, all the uncertainty, whether we were going to play, and then no non-conference games. I mean, everything just kept changing. So we just focused our kids on, look, we get to play. We got 9 games. Let's not waste an opportunity to compete. Let's not waste an opportunity to get better. And so we really did focus on just each game as it comes. Of course, we wanted to win every game, and we wanted to win the Big 12 championship, and that looks unlikely now. So the other thing we have been preaching recently is, let's try and be relevant for the spring. So on the assumption that the NCAA are going to host their tournament and it actually happens in April, we want to be involved. And the more wins we get this fall, the better chance we have of being involved in that tournament come spring. So we know it's important. Our kids are proud anyway. They want to win. Tech beat us last year, OU's OU. So, our kids are proud. They want to win. But I think staying relevant for that spring event gives them a little added incentive. These games could be important as we look to the spring season. Yep.
So I think Sam, and something that really the 4 of us noticed up in the games is that it's a theme where once the ball kind of like gets initially tapped back, usually Grace Yoakum will run down and just kind of boot it as far as she can downfield. First of all, is that actually something that we've noticed? And is that like a strategy? Is that kind of effective that you guys utilize?
Yeah, it is. It's for two reasons. One is in years past, we've played the ball back and kept possession of it. And what we found happened was the other team would just press the heck out of us, and we'd end up turning it over in our own end of the field or giving up a throw in or something silly. So what we choose to do now is have Grace send it forward, but we want her to send it wide onto either flank. If the other team get a throw in 30 yards from their own goal, we'll step everybody up and press them in their end. Or if their kid heads it, hopefully we can win the knockdown, and we've already picked the ball up at their end of the field. So some teams do that. Some teams choose to keep the ball. We got burned a couple of times a few years ago when we did keep the ball. And so we just decided, let's put it at their end of the field, see if they make an early mistake, and then see if we can't capitalize on it. That's basically the thinking behind it.
Yeah. Was that just something you kind of noticed last year, and then the first match of this year you just decided to start doing?
No, we've done it for a couple of years now. It's just something that I can't remember exactly, but there's been a couple of years, maybe going back 3 or 4 or 5 years, where we just kept possession of it. Like I said, it didn't go well. And then we thought, well, there's got to be a better way, instead of just encouraging teams to press us. And that's what we came up with, is you just want to put it up in their end of the field, make a kid deal with a high ball. They haven't touched the ball yet, put them at their end of the field and see if they might make a mistake and give us something early.
Yeah, that's certainly very interesting. And my last question for you is, how do you feel this week? What's the mentality of the team coming off of a win rather than, the last 3 weeks have been coming off, a tie and then 2 losses?
Yeah, it feels a lot better. Everybody's human. We all compete. We want to win, and the whole group just feels a little bit better. There's just a more positive energy, after you win a game. That's just the way sports are. So our kids feel good, but it's funny. You could tell they were a little bit down after the previous couple of weeks. Even though we hadn't necessarily played that poorly or could have won both those games quite easily. There's still that just deflating feeling that you've lost 2 games in a row and it doesn't feel good. But it's a testament to our kids. There's no quitting us. The coaches were ready to go. The kids were ready to go. And, our kids just play hard. I didn't expect them to let down. I expected them to show a little bit of grit and a little bit of determination, a little bit of pride. And they did that. So that didn't surprise me at all. But yes, coming off a win, you just have that little spring in your step. Everybody just smiles a little bit more and feels better.
Certainly. Stay warm, Coach. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Everything for Coach?
I think so.
All righty, we'll let y'all move on. Looks like G and Emily are both on, so I'll let you guys go ahead with them.
Hey, Gabriella, you're on the left, so I guess I'll just start with you on my screen here. I'm wondering, what was the feeling that you got, or what were you thinking when you got word that some of the players from the basketball team were going to come practice with you guys last week?
Muted.
I think you're on mute, Gabriella. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You're all right. It happened to me all the time. You're good.
I actually didn't know about that until like Colin told us at practice. I mean, I didn't get to see them like do like anything, but like shout out to them for like doing all that like type of stuff that we do. I mean, yeah, like some certain things are hard, especially like, when you play a different sport. So I mean, I give them like a lot of credit for like actually getting effort and doing all that. So
Were there any kind of like fun moments that you saw? Maybe a basketball player like scoring a goal. Was there anything that kind of stuck out to you that was kind of fun about that practice?
oh yeah, like seeing like two of the girls try to juggle like on the video, and I thought it was like so funny because I think they only got like two, and then like also like seeing them like trying to score and everything, and like one blocked a shot, which was like actually like pretty like funny because like they didn't want to like get scored on. But mostly for me, it was like the juggling because I mean juggling is like hard and there's like a lot of technique towards doing that. So I think like that was like one of like the fun things I got to see.
So was there a moment where you just kind of like casually juggled, the ball like 20 times or whatever, and they're just over there kind of struggling, and you're kind of like, hey?
I actually like no, because like I only saw a video of it. I actually didn't like be at the practice, so like, I just saw like little clips of it. So if I was there, I mean, yeah, I would do that. So.
Gotcha. And also a quick question about the weather outside. As Coach Carmichael told me that you guys moved to the Sherman E. Smith Center to practice. Were you at that practice, and what was that like?
I mean, it was cold. I'm used to like playing in Sherman. It's like since my first like spring semester here, we had to train in Sherman first. So I actually got used to being in there. But to me, like I don't really think about it. I mean, I dress in warm clothes and like that's all that matters. I can't really focus on like how cold it is because I'm like, I'm gonna have to play in this no matter what. So like that's not really what my focus was. I mean, yeah, like at the end of the practice is over, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like super freezing. I can't feel my hands, and like I don't want to leave my car because it's super warm. So, but I think it's pretty fine to me. I'm not really bothered by cold weather. I actually like it sometimes because I feel like I don't get as tired as quickly when I play in the cold.
Yeah, quick follow-up. Were the doors like closed in Sherman? Was it, kind of like you were playing in a controlled environment, or was it open to the elements that day?
It was closed, so like no one can come in. So basically they just shut everything, like everything. So
Gotcha. Thanks, Gabriella.
You're welcome.
Hey, Gabriella. What are your thoughts on what you've seen just studying Texas Tech and what they've been able to do this year?
Well, for me, basically, like I've been studying like their back line and like how they like defend like different attacking players. So what I feel like I have to do is like I can't always like get him behind and like play over the top balls. I mean, that doesn't like work all the time. But like for me, being mindful is like to stay on sides and like also like see like who has like different weaknesses and like and who struggles and like who won't be able to handle my speed. And like to me, I'm kind of just like, well, this person can do this and this person is struggling at this. I feel like if I just do this more, then she wouldn't be able to handle me. So I feel like it mostly also like probably in the attacking area because I feel like that's if I come back, like that would be like one situation. But also like me moving the ball around like with my teammates, I feel like that would be good for me too. Like just watching them, so I feel like if that happens, then they would not be able to like stop us or me.
Whenever you're watching film the week before the game, do you watch a lot of the film from your previous week and what you did well against like Texas, for instance?
Yeah, I do. So usually after every game that we just played, I go back and watch like film from the game and see like what I did good and like what can I do better and like what do I need to fix, or I'm like, oh, I need like not do that in the next game because this could have been the better option if I'd done that. So like I really like study myself and then also like how I'm going to like do it in the next game to make it better.
Mm-hmm. And then is there a lot of similarities between what Texas what their personnel has looked like and what Texas Tech's personnel is?
No, I say like Texas Tech personnel is different than Texas, but in my opinion, I feel like every back line is different. So it's like for everyone like has like different like abilities. I feel like the Texas team would be able to handle my speed. I feel like Texas didn't. So with Texas Tech, I have to like probably have some speed back there, but also they do have a weakness back there, so I'll be able to like handle that.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There we go. How ready are you and the team to try and go in and get that win back against Texas Tech?
Oh, like we were fired up. We were just saying, like we were all talking to each other, saying that we were gonna like play our hardest and like do like whatever we can to like get a goal. And like we know that we're a really great team, so we were all motivating each other. Like no matter what, even we're down a goal or up a goal, we were just like we're gonna fight until the end and get a win out of this. So I feel like we were super ready for like the Texas game, and like in my opinion, I feel like I was like ready. Like also like mentality, like 'cause I feel like in the past 2 games I haven't been myself, and I feel like in this Texas game I have. I actually shown like what I can do. Even though like I didn't score that game, I know I did. Like I contributed to like creating like options for people. So.
Looking to Texas Tech this weekend, just, how are you preparing for it, and how is the team preparing for it?
How I'm preparing for it is basically I'm preparing to like say how I prepare for any game. I am focused, but also I'm not overthinking of what I'm going to do in certain games. So I'm like, I just like whittle it down to like a few things. Like I'm going to do, like I pick 2 things I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then like once I start getting that going, then I move on to like another thing. So, but I feel like the team, we're getting really prepared for it, especially like when practices and everything, we're going to probably go over like what we did wrong in the Texas game, or like what we did right. And then also to get ready for the Texas Tech game. So I feel like everything's going to be ready for. Thank you.
Is there anything else for Gabriella?
I don't think so.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
G.
Thank you.
We'll let y'all fire away at Emily.
Hey, Emily, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, staying warm, so that's always nice. I'm wondering, I don't know if you heard me talking earlier with Coach or maybe Gabriella about the practice with the basketball players. Were you at that practice when a few of the players came to hang out with you guys?
No, I wasn't. I actually don't know when that was. I might have been like goalkeeper training or something like that, but I don't recall it. But I saw it online and it looked fun.
Oh man, that's a much more interesting part. You just said goalkeeper training. What's that about?
Oh, we just come like an hour or about an hour and a half before team practice, and we just do like goalkeeper specific training, like in the goal and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay, so gotcha. So you go like before, and then you just don't stay for like the rest of the practice, or?
No, we have goalkeeper twice a week, and then after that we go to team practice. So all in all, it's about 3 hours of practice that day. But normally team practice isn't that bad, but sometimes we do a lot of shots, but just depends. It's not too much.
No, I got you there. Another thing about practice is going to the Sherman E. Smith Center. Because of the weather, forced you guys inside. Was anything different from your perspective practicing in there versus the regular time at Neil Patterson?
I mean, I thought it'd be a little bit warmer, but it was still pretty freezing out, and we haven't really practiced that much in the cold, and I was like surprised about how like cold I actually was, and I wasn't really layered up well enough the first time, and I was like, every ball that hit me hurt so much more.
Oh, man, so they don't have like the heaters going in there? I've never been inside, but I always think it's pretty toasty in there.
No, I don't think they even have any heaters, because normally they just like open up the walls apparently during the summer, but I feel like it'd be super expensive to heat it. It's just huge in there.
Yeah, you're probably right. Another question I wanted to ask you is about like the opening strategy. You guys have used a lot of the times this season where Grace Yoakum will get the ball after it's initially kind of tapped back, and she'll just boot it downfield. Coach Carmichael said is to go outside the numbers, so it kind of forces some pressure on the opponent early in the match. Is that a common strategy to open a soccer game? whether have you seen that much before?
I haven't seen it a ton. I know I played a couple games in high school where we tried that, but I think it's good. It works for the most part because they're down there by their goal, and if they get a throw in, it's easier to kind of contain them and then get a shot on goal early on. So.
Yeah, and Coach Carmichael told me that one of the reasons why he kind of has gone away from passing it backwards and kind of maintaining that possession is because it kind of makes if you have a mistake, it's an easy turnover to start the match, and you could have a throw in or something. As a goalkeeper, do you like seeing the ball just immediately starting way down there versus the ball kind of coming towards you, even if it is your own team passing it back?
I mean, I don't really mind if it's down there. Farther away from me, they don't have any opportunities and stuff like that. And yeah, basically, I like it. I like our strategy. I think it works well and gives us an opportunity early on.
Yeah, for sure. And my last question for you, Emily, is just about like the kind of attitude of the team. I don't know if at practice this week anything's been a little bit more lively coming off of a win. Can you kind of speak to like just the attitude of the team coming off of a win versus the last few weeks that hasn't been the case?
I feel like we are lively, but it's more of like a focus, like determined. Like at practice the other day, it was really good. Like I was watching when I wasn't in goal for a little bit, and I was just surprised about how good the shots were, how connected we are with the passes and stuff like that. It was really a really good practice. So I think we're just all really focused and excited to play again and win again.
Gotcha. That's good to hear. Thanks so much, Emily.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, quick question. So, obviously this week you won Big 12 Goalkeeper of the Week. So, I mean, on Friday you had that huge save in the 69th minute against Texas. Could you please just walk me through that save? When you go up and you punch the ball out, what emotions are you feeling? What is going through your mind when you make a huge save like that?
Well, let me think. Well, I wasn't really thinking about anything. I was really focused in on the game and the girl that took the shot. We talked about her a lot in film and knew she had really good capabilities and range. So I don't really remember thinking anything specific when that happened. I just knew I had to get there. And actually on Wednesday that week before the game, I actually went early and we worked on that exact save just because I felt like I wasn't getting it well enough, and it just was really convenient that that's the shot that I saved was something that we worked on. But yeah, I don't know, I was just in the moment playing.
Yeah, and then the other thing, of course, being a transfer from Stetson, I think this is your 5th year of playing college soccer. So at Oklahoma State in the Big 12, is there anything extra that you've learned as a goalkeeper that you maybe didn't learn in Stetson?
I mean, chances they come there's few chances in the game, and you have to be focused and zoned in every minute. I'm not saying I didn't have to in the last conference, but the girls in the Big 12 will take their shots quicker and faster and earlier, and you just have to there's no downtime. You always have to be tuned into the game.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Emily, what have you seen from Texas Tech this week, and is it harder to scout them if they haven't had similar personnel every single week?
I mean, I haven't really looked too much into Texas Tech's shape. We've talked about it a lot already, but for the most part, I think what we do, I feel like our formation can really take on any team. We just have to make tiny little fixes throughout the game depending on how they're gonna come at us. And we know their formation for the past few years, and we know how to tackle that and move forward. So.
And then in the game against Texas, there wasn't a whole lot of, I don't think there was a whole lot of opportunities for Texas to score, but what is that something that you kind of hope happens on a every game basis, or are you wanting to be a little more active whenever you're in goal?
The less chances the other team has, the better. I mean, I'm there just to be like the last line of defense. So if I don't have to do anything, then that's on my team for being so good at defense and organize. And I have to organize them and everything like that. I know there was a lot of battling in the box with the Texas game, so our defense held like really strong, and they're really determined. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I mean, if I have a lot of shots, then that's what I get. But if I don't, I'm grateful for that too.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anything else for Emily? We done?
I think we're good.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.